Just because something's old and beat up, at least in appearance, doesn't mean it can't be a high performer. This revolver being a really good example. This is an old Smith & Wesson. It's a Model 10. It's the heavy barrel, very similar to the kind that were carried in a lot of law enforcement holsters. This model is old enough to where the barrel is still pinned, and in addition to that, the forcing cone is flattened right here to meet the yoke. Everything else outside of the grips is basically just a very old, well-worn revolver that has definitely seen its fair share of use. One of the things you can do with a revolver is, if you look at this space right here on the recoil shield, you can see how worn out that is and get an idea how many rounds it's had through it. In this case, it's pretty polished, along with the other parts of the recoil shield. The other thing you can look at in some cases is the top strap. Let me see if I can get a picture of it. But right along the top strap at the forcing cone, every once in a while you'll see a little bit of wear, and that'll indicate that the revolver's had a fair bit of rounds through it. So by all evidence, this revolver has enjoyed quite a usable service life. The only changes on this revolver that I'm aware of are the grips. I don't like the grips that come with a lot of the K-frames, and these are, if memory serves me, they're VZ grips, and they're a bit of a Goldilocks in that they just fit my hand really well. But it's really, despite the large amount of use, still performing at a pretty high level. Let's take a look. All right, we've got a paper target about 25 yards out. Let's see how this goes. We're going to shoot a double action. Offhand, obviously, just to kind of get an idea of how shootable this gun is and what the double action feels like. The double action is not terribly light, but it is extremely smooth. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's trending to the right. Definitely a shock group you can cover with the hand quite. All right, double action shock group wasn't bad. I think just for fun, let's try a 6-shot single action shock group, same distance, 25 yards. We'll aim at the head. That single action is just really super light. That one went slightly left. Let's see what we got. Okay, 25 yards, shooting single action, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe slightly, again, trending to the right, but for the most part, pretty well centered. So perhaps the double action shooting is my fault. But still, the shock group's not terribly different in size. That trigger is quite crisp, quite smooth. Shoots really well. All right, we're still at 25 yards. Let's try a little bit faster shooting. Okay, in addition to our first 6 rounds, we've got another 12. Again, not bad. 25 yards offhand on double action. You know, if I were overlay like a USPSA target, I think most, if not all of these would be in an A zone. Okay, downrange at about 35 yards. We've got that piece of steel. Let's play around with that. All right, let's shoot that steel at 35. I think the takeaway here is just because something looks old and beat up doesn't necessarily mean we should write it off as not being able to perform. I think this is a good example of a gun that certainly, by all appearances, has seen its better days, but when you put it on paper or put it in hand and actually shoot it, it does pretty well. And I think if you put it in the hands of a more competent shooter, you'd see the true abilities of the gun's performance.